It's ball talk. It's ball talk, baby. 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 Baby.
Hello and welcome to the Ball Talk podcast. It is currently 2:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, May 6th, 2021. I'm your host, John Sock, and as always, I'm joined by my main man, Chaz Jurgens.
You know who it is.
We've interviewed his son in the past, and today we are blessed to be joined by head of Dailey Training, a great guy, great man, Eric Dailey Sr. Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, man. Thanks for having me.
It's a blessing to have you on, man. I am so excited for this interview. I want you to know that before we get started. I am so excited. I definitely want to talk about Eric Jr. I also really want to talk about you. I think you have a really awesome story all in your own right, and then you also have this awesome story of your son is so successful and succeeding in so many ways. So we're going to talk about your experience playing pro ball, and most importantly, like your experience as a successful sports dad who's built such a great connection with his son, because that's just all in all the most impressive thing to me, the way you fostered such a great relationship with your son.
Okay, cool. Thank you, man.
Of course.
I grew up in Ocala, Florida, which is I'm in Bradenton now. It's about 2 hours away north from here. I was an all-state basketball player. I have a school record of 50 points in 3 quarters.
That's insane.
I was kind of ahead of my time, man. I was a big guard, back in that day. Back then, most people that were 6'6" were like, forwards or centers. Mm-hmm. And my coach didn't really know what to do with me. It was just like out of the norm. So I was able to do a lot on the court. And colleges would recruit me as, forward. Some would recruit me as a guard, but I signed with Western Carolina first. And I averaged about 16 points, 9 rebounds as a freshman. Was runner-up freshman of the year. And they were like, Western Carolina in the Southern Conference, like that, low D1 type school. And I would go play like Clemson, North Carolina State, give them numbers. I was like, man, I could play on this other level. Gotta get So I transferred to TCU. And they were in the Southwest Conference, which is the Big 12 right now. And I started out my first year at TCU, averaged 14 and 9 rebounds. Like, I did the same numbers, with better competition. So I knew that, man, I got a chance to, to go and play on the next level. But my coach played me as a forward. So nobody wanted a 6'6" forward. It was like Charles Barkley, and that was it. Everybody else was guards. And I had that skill, but he never really played me that way. So that kind of hurt me, but it helped me because I was able to develop my game all throughout the spectrum. So as a guard, from high school, a forward in college, and I had a chance to go over to Europe. Once I got over to Europe, you got to do everything. You got to be able to shoot, pass, dribble, sell popcorn, So that helped me. My game was so, developed once I got over there. And I had opportunities to get into NBA camps. Didn't get drafted, but got to Europe and really started to love it. Went to Spain, played in Spain in 1995, 96, and that just propelled my career to play, for 10 more years. During those times, and I'll get to how we got to Dailey Training. During those times as a player, I went through so much. So, you gotta realize back in 1994, 95, that's pre-internet. So there's no YouTube, there's no time, there's none of that. There's not even cell phones. You got some, but you got the big box. So I don't have a cell phone. I got to walk a half a mile down the street and put 20 quarters on the phone just to get the AT&T operator so I could call somebody to collect over here. So I started learning how to live through basketball, through international basketball. Cook, clean, protect myself. I had to learn how to negotiate contracts. I got injured twice as a pro. I tore both ACLs. So I became a gym rat. I stayed in the gym. I stayed training, rehab, training, 10 months, come back and play. Tear the other one. 10 months training, rehab, come back and play. And I played my best years after my second ACL. I was able to go and play with Ginobili's team down in Argentina. I played in Puerto Rico for national team coach. I played in Japan with Toshiba. They had just won the championship. I had a national team coach. I played in the Philippines with San Miguel. They were one of the top teams in the Philippines. So by now, I've hit like 8 countries. So international. And I'm loving it at the time because now, okay, I'm not in the NBA. I live in Tokyo. That was great after I, realized that, hey, you're not going to get into the NBA, but accept it and accept this, this kind of story that you're living, this story life that you're living. And, it just took off, man. I would be, what I tell people, anywhere world, like a movie come on and it might say, Miami, Florida. And mine would say anywhere, comma, world. I'd be anywhere. Like in some back street, down in some alley in Latvia. I'm like, what, dude? Like, you're way overseas and, nobody knows where you are. Like, it was crazy, man. So I really had a great experience, and that kind of propelled me into, what I'm doing now with my company. So Dailey Training is the company. That's my last name. Training, of course. International. So I started the company back in 2005 after I retired. I finished playing in the Philippines. That was my last job. And when I came home, Eric wasn't born yet. So I was more, what do I do now? And, it was in God's hands because I wanted to continue to play. So the doctor hands me E. And he's like, now you can go back and play. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. And God's like, now you ain't. You got to be right here taking care of this kid because you got something special. So I could get a job anywhere, man. So for the next couple of years, I was, just mourning. Most athletes die twice. They die as an athlete and they die as a person. So that was kind of like my death as an athlete. And I would just be sitting down like on my porch, and my wife was at the University of South Carolina. And I'd be sitting on the porch while she was at school and be like, what am I going to do? So I just had to go within myself and like, what have you been doing? I've been training. I've been traveling. I've been negotiating international contracts. And people are always calling me, hey, E, how'd you get over to Japan? How'd you play in the Philippines? And I take it for granted because I was always a great networker, and I was always, I'm like the best, follow-upper. I'm going to follow up. So I was like, man, what? I can teach this to the younger generation coming in. The basketball part, I know all the positions. I played them as a pro. So why don't I teach these players how to get ready to play for one, how to get a job, how to sustain it, and how to ease out of the basketball into retirement. So that's how Dailey Training was formed in 2005. And today, it's 21, man. We're still going.
That's so awesome. And so you touched on a lot of things right there. So I don't even know where to go first. I think first I'm going to say I love the double entendre for Dailey Training as both Dailey and Dailey, your last name. I love it. I love it so much. I'm a big double entendre guy, and I wish I had a better last name that I could do something with that with. So You did 4 years at TCU, killing it, absolutely dominating, then moving overseas, being blessed with the opportunity to continue playing basketball. How back then you couldn't just send out a mixtape. You know, you didn't have, as you said, pre-internet, pre-YouTube, Alberto Markovic. You know Alberto, right?
Yeah.
At IMG. He basically lives on YouTube watching kids' highlights, trying to find someone that's any good. We have a friend who got recruited by IMG because he had a great highlight tape out, and he got the call. And I mean, he couldn't make it work. He couldn't find his way down.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how recruiting is now. You put out your highlights on YouTube. You reach out to programs. You make a call to an agent. You Google agents. How did you make the jump from TCU to Europe?
Well, I was on the borderline of being drafted. Like, you know, they draft 60 players. I was probably in the top 100, you know, for sure. I had big games, but again, my coach played me out of position. So if he would have played me like a guard, I would have had a chance. You know, I got into camp, but I mean, I would have had a chance. You know, I would go to camp and they'd be like, we got 18 players on the roster. We can only keep 13. You know, you're just a body. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go back and make some money somewhere, you know. You know, I had big numbers. So that's what got me to overseas because the agents and scouts were looking, you know, and they saw me. My last collegiate game, we played Texas. I think they were number 18 or something. I hit them for 32 and 16.
It's awesome.
Hey, I'm trying to get the game.
So draft me now.
Right.
So you were afforded this opportunity in that it was easier for you to make the jump because you were just so dominant. You know, other people, you know, kind of struggled. So that's
it wasn't like you signed up for this. You know, they called me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, got a job. You know, the first job was in Portugal. And I had no clue about Europe. I'm like, think about it now. No internet. All I can see for Europe is on CNN. Man, they got my mind so mad. I'm like, you know, if I heard Israeli troops, I was terrified. Oh, man, they're going to get me. And I didn't know anything about Europe. When they would call me, this is crazy, you know. They call me and say, hey, I got a job for you in Finland. My first reaction is, are they fighting in Finland? It's like, you know, Finland. But I don't know. I mean, I never heard of Finland. Like, Finland? Like, I might have heard of class, you know, some geography class or something, but I didn't know. So I would have to go to the World Book Encyclopedia and open it up, look, and find whatever country. And all I would, that's it.
Like, I guess I'm going here now.
That's it. This is where, okay, that looks cool. And you know, when I got to Portugal, man, I was terrified, dude. It was when I got to Portugal, I was 22 years old. When I got off the plane, first of all, I had like 6 big bags. Like, you can take 2. You're gonna have to pay for 2. But I got a trunk. I got big bags. I got all my clothes. Like, I don't know anything about travel. This guy Pepe, who picks me up in this little car, beep beep, Eric, and he's coming. I'm like, okay, mind you, just 4 years ago I was in Ocala, Florida, man. Like, it's about Florida. Now I'm in Steuben, Portugal. And when I got there and got in the car with him, he says, "Who's this bag of money?" And it's like, here's your first check. And I was like, I'm cool with it. But then I was like, wait a minute. I got all the cash and funny money. Like, it wasn't dollars. It wasn't even euros back then. It was potatoes. I was like, wait a minute. Like, what is it trying to rob me or something? No, I have no protection. I don't know where I am. I'm on the other side of the world. I'm jet lagged. I'm tired. So, you know, when the kid's tired or hungry, he's grumpy. So I'm that guy. So I get to my apartment. I got a roommate. He's like 28, maybe. We had a cool little apartment, but no elevator on the 3rd floor, 4th floor. We got to walk up. Everything is just like non-American. And I'm like, I'm strictly American at the time. So no TV. We had videotape, and it was Silence of the Lambs, dude. I watched it 108. Silence of the Lambs.
That's such a great movie. Gotta put it out there. Great movie.
Man, I stayed on Silence of the Lambs. So, but I had that little speaker. I could play my music. That's why I'm like a music fanatic now. You know, so because that's all I did. Even like now, you see the TV's on, no sound. That's how I roll. TV. I had the music. So anyway, we play a game one day. I'm in this little van. Hey, everything is just like, you know, I don't want to do that here. You know, homesick. I go play this game, hit like 30. The coach doesn't say anything to me. I'm like, man, he don't even like me. So I call my mom. They make a mistake. The one thing that they tell the players, and these guys, they don't really know. They're just talking. They tell the players, don't give up your passport, you know, because they'll keep you or whatever, you know. And, man, I got my guard up. So why did they come to me after the practice and say, Eric, bring your passport tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, right. Hey, all right, I'll bring it tomorrow. I'm back with them 20 quarters, AT&T. Collect call from Eric. I call my mom. Like, hey, call TWA. You remember TWA Airlines? Call TWA on 3-way and get me a ticket because I'm out of here because they asked for my passport. I'm nothing, man. Man, I mean, that night, 5 o'clock, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, I catch a taxi back to Lisbon. Don't tell anybody. I just get in the taxi and go. I get my I get my return flight. I got my return flight. I get on the plane and go back to Dallas. Nobody knows where I'm at. So the agent finally calls like a week later, like, hey, where are you? I'm like, I'm in Dallas, man. They was trying to take my passport, man. I wasn't trying to, you know, give up my passport. No way. He was like, nah. They were trying to register you for the Federation so that they can get your contract and they can pay you money. I was like, oh, for real? Oh.
But it was on the next flight. Oh my god.
Said I gotta dip out 3 in the morning, make sure nobody see me.
So this is back to Lisbon.
To Lisbon. I can't speak Portuguese. I was just like, Lisbon, airport. It took me to the airport. I got a flight, man. I'm going back. And later, they were going to sign you, man. So, with those kind of stories, I look back and I was like, see, I needed me when I was there. So that's how I became Dailey Training, because nobody can educate the player on how to go and get an international contract, what countries to go to, what to do when you're in the country. Like, unless you've been there. So your college coach, he can only just talk. He's just talking. If he's never been there, he can't tell you what to expect. Like, you know, how their customs, what their customs are. That's really major. You got to understand that because you're in their custom. You're in their country. You know, you can't go in doing X and they're doing Y. Yeah. You know, when in Rome, you know, same. So that's how this thing got started, man. And it was just, I got so many comical stories, man. That, oh, man, I can go days.
I love that. So I want to talk about how has Dailey Training, what did Dailey Training start with? How did it start for you? And what is it like now? How has it grown? It's kind of.
Oh, man. Hey, it's crazy, right? So I'm sitting on the porch during my morning, you know, time in Columbia, South Carolina. So my wife is at USC. She's got database to all of the schools. So I'm like, hey, I want to do this camp at this high school down the street. and I'm going to get all the middle school, elementary school, information and send them this flyer. So I'm in the gym packing envelopes with these flyers. I don't know, man. I got a stack of them. I got 30 schools. Boom, send it out. Like, yes. Oh, now I got 2 courts. This high school, 5 minutes from my house. Oh, it's going to be on. So camp day, I get one of the managers from South Carolina. I got this table, and I got this poster board that says, register here with an arrow pointing that way, right? on the street. We sitting down. We sitting at this table. Registration says starts at 12. It's 11:30. Then it's 11:45. It's 12. Okay, it's okay. It's 12:30. It's 1. It's 1:30. I'm like, hey, man. Nobody's showing up, man. And it's okay, like maybe we, go to the front or something. Dude, in the front was crickets. Nobody even showed up to say, like, blow the horn, beep, beep. Hey, where's the baseball field? Like, nobody. So I didn't get down. I put a lot of work into, trying to market it or whatever. So, man, it's like 2:30 now. I'm like, hey, man, I just grilled last night. Let's go to my house, get some food. Let's hang out there a little bit. We just chalk this one up. Like, I'm glad nobody came, because realistically, I ain't even ready to do a camp. I'm by my. So I had the blueprint, and I got like a 300-page notebook full of notes. I still got it. So my wife got the job in the WNBA in San Antonio. I flew out later, and I went to, it's called Spectrum. It's like one of the best health clubs in San Antonio, and it's 5-star. And I went and interviewed for a job because they had an NBA court. And my idea was to get the job, don't do training, do basketball camps on that court. So I went and got a job, got certified through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, did the interview, and then I was like, I don't want to train, I want to use the court. Let me do camps. And they were like, okay. So my first camp, man, the second one, I had about 50 players come. I had, some uniforms for them. I had my wife come in. I had the trainer from the Spurs come in. Couple of players come in and speak to them. And we did a 5-day camp, man. And it went really well for the first one. And then as I was marketing that camp, a friend of mine who's a businessman down in McAllen, Texas, I just happened to see him at this gym. And he came out and he was like, hey, young fella, we won't be able to make it, but maybe you can come down to McAllen and you can do a camp down there. So he's a physical therapist, knows all the doctors and lawyers around the city. So I was like, okay. And at this time, I'm still trying to go back and play. This is like 2005. So he's just a little, he's that big. So I'm trying to go to this camp in Kentucky. Come on, man, I'm a 10-year vet. I'm trying to go to a tryout camp. You know what I'm saying? I'm desperate. So my guy said, hey, you come down there, I can get 5 or 6 people, pay you $1,000, and you stay for the week during the 4th of July, hang out, work with the kids, whatever. And he did it. Like, wow, I just made like $7,000. It's easy work. Camp, like I'm done with that. This is it. So that's how it kind of started. And then he schooled me on business. Most people do training, and they are the centerpiece. And I was at first. Then he was like, hey, you get your LLC, you start your business, get your corporation set up, blah, blah, blah. And now you can make $7,000 a week for a lot of weeks, not just one. Yeah, that makes sense. And I, got the big house, and he's got the boats and the jet skis. And we pull up to his beach house, and he look at me like, "Hey, young fella, I haven't shot a basketball yet. And I was like, whoa, boy, I like this business. Like, I should have did this a long time." So
Why didn't I start with this?
started, you know, I'm so creative, and once I understood it from the foundation, then I was like, dude, you definitely got to go back to Europe and do it. You definitely got to go back to Japan. You know, there was kids waiting on you, wanting you to sign autographs, after every game. So that's kind of how it all, started, man. And it was, humble beginnings. Don't be afraid of humble beginnings, man, because you need those things to grow. I figured I was going to have 100 people at my first camp, and I don't know, I might have $100. So I'm just doing the math. 100 times 100. Oh, yeah, some. Nah, man, you got to grow, man. You got to start from the seed. So that's how I jumped off.
That's great. And tell us about what Dailey Training is looking like today in the year 2021. What, 15 years later, 16 years later?
Oh, yeah, man. Shoot. Okay, so initially I started out training girls or women. I got in touch with one of the top female agents. I was bringing over Olympians from Russia, from Ukraine. I'd have 15 girls over here, and they come to Florida from Russia, so they want to come to the beach. So we'd be here, 3 weeks training. I get my former pro players to come and work with me. That's how it started, and then it started, growing into bringing groups. So we would bring groups over from, Colombia, Puerto Rico, India, Brazil. And I partnered with Eckerd College, which is here in St. Pete. And I used their housing. And basically, man, we was like the IMG, just not a school, but we had everything they had, the housing, the food, the training. I feel our trainers were, better because we had pros. I saw the inside, like, yeah, I'm going to bring my Tree Rollins. I'm going to bring these guys who were actually NBA guys to come in and train. So it grew to that. Then I got to deal with Disney. So the Global Cup started in 2012. I signed with them from 2011 to 2015, but we started in 12. So people were just blown away by, how did you get a deal with Disney? Like, there's a line from here to Tokyo trying to get into Disney. And then all of a sudden, I got my logo running around Disney, 150 players, 32 teams. So once I got to Disney, then boom, it just blew up, because I'm on Disney's website. So I started growing, the company from just camps to, summer academy where we implemented English. We also just now have partnered with Royal Caribbean to do cruises. So there's a ship that leaves New York. There's 4, New York, the UK, Australia, and Shanghai. And it has a full court on it. Like, one of the courts in IMG is on the ship. 6 baskets, 5-star everything. So that was about to launch last March. COVID hit. Wasn't able to do it, but now I've had time to rebuild my website and really get, everything lined up for when this thing finishes. So it's like so exciting, man, because I wake up in the morning since 2010 at like 4:30. And I'd be in the bed on the phone talking to, the Philippines. And my wife would be like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm working." I got a guy, he wants to send over 3 players from New Zealand, and this and that. And then before you know it, they'll be here. They'll be here at my house. Probably you say you was at IMG 4 years ago?
Yeah, when Eric was in 8th grade.
So you might have seen, I bought a kid from Australia. What team did you play on?
I was on the post grad team.
He came and worked out with the post grad.
Oh,
He was from.
What was his name? What was his name? Oh, come on.
His name was Ryan. He was. He was
I remember Ryan. I remember him.
6'2".
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just off for like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
Worked so hard. I remember him.
So I brought him over here for he was here for like 5 weeks. So he come stay with us. He trained. I take him to different, post grad schools, and that kind of became what I did. So now it's like Dailey Training is your bridge. It's a bridge for the American kid to go abroad, and it's the bridge for the international kid to come to America, Florida. So that's where we are now, man. It's so exciting that I just can't wait till the next day, because I never know what the next day is going to bring. It'll be, I've traveled, I have to go backwards. I've traveled to Guam, Australia, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Ecuador, Spain, Italy, Amsterdam, Canada. I did Canada.
You came up north?
Yeah, I've been up to Canada a few times. I did the NBL, and what is it, NBL? The Pro League.
Yeah, NBL, yeah.
I did those pre-draft training camp back in 2000.
Way.
I was the first one. When the league was just started, I was the first one. I came. We had about 50 players. I had about 4 or 5 pro coaches come up, and we prepared the players for the pre-draft camp. Yeah. Yeah, so I've traveled all over. So, now when I went to Guam, Guam was still America, and I didn't know that. So I was like, man, I'm in Guam, but I'm 3 hours from Tokyo. So I'm gonna set up here, and then I'm gonna bring all of Asia to Guam. And that was my whole idea. COVID hit, but the idea is still there, and all these things happen, once everything loosens up.
And one thing I want to talk about just with all this is you were the international basketball director for AAU, and you told us a little bit about how you got before that we started recording. You told us a little bit how you got started with that. I wish that you hadn't told me before, because it was so good. I want the viewers to hear how you got into this position.
Well, when I did the Global Cup, because you got to realize that Wide World of Sports, nobody's in there doing events unless you got a lot of money or you're AAU. So AAU and Disney, have a partnership. The AAU office is, 10 minutes away from Disney. So with all of those kids coming through AAU, of course, that's like, the perfect place. So they do a contract every year or every 2 years, whatever. Disney bought ESPN. And one day I was talking to my partner in Italy, and he was like, I got 40 kids I want to bring over from Switzerland. And I was like, okay. And I've always wanted to get to Disney because I knew Wide World of Sports. Again, I'm out of the box thinking. So I'm like, why don't we do it at Disney? He's like, yeah, that'd be great. I say, I'm going to call him.
Get Walt on the phone.
You can't call Mickey Mouse. So I find the email address, and I send an email. I don't know. I'm just like, whatever, man. Hey, this is who I am. It's what I do. I like to come there and do training camp. Boom. Here's like my website, whatever. Like a week later, I get an email, and all together it says ESPN WWOS. But I'm like, what's that? That's like spam. But I opened it. Oh, Eric, this is such and such from ESPN Wide World of Sports. We received your email. We like your resume. We're looking to do something with international basketball. We just bought ESPN, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, I'm about to go to Disney. We want to meet with you in like 2 weeks. I'm like, dang, I'm about to go to Disney and meet with them. What the hell's going on? Like, okay. So get my business partner. We go in. I got this whole thing put together for training. Man, I get there and they're like, yeah, this is nice. And they put it to the side. And I'm like, what? And how you need to read that? nah, what we do here is big, 50-team tournaments, international soccer tournaments, but we don't have international basketball. I've never done an international basketball in a tournament, period. Not even at the Y. I've never done a tournament. They're like, we want you to do this big international tournament. Here, you can sell sponsorships, blah, blah, blah. So my partner's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, and I'm sitting back like, man, I wanted to do training. So he's like, all right, let me explain. So he explained everything to me. I was like, all right, let's do it. So now I got the task of doing an international tournament at Disney with no blueprint. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I mean, I've seen tournaments. I played in them, but who am I going to call? And I just grinded. That's when I started waking up at 4 o'clock, calling teams all over the world, calling people. And so the first year came so fast till I couldn't do it. So I was like, we're going to cancel the first year, and we'll do it in 2012. So in 2012, man, I bought like 200 people from Australia over here. We had teams from Bermuda, Canada, France, Brazil, Colombia came. And we had a few U.S. teams to kind of to fill in. And we did the Global Cup World Championships, man. And it was awesome. Mickey Mouse ran out and shook my hand, gave me the game balls. Like, I got videos. I'll shoot them over to you. But
awesome.
That's how it started. So now AAU is like, hey, what's going on at Disney? So the president comes in and the head of the, athletics comes in and he's looking, I'm talking to him. He's looking around at all these foreign kids like, man, how'd you get these kids? I say, well, for one, I played over there in a lot of these countries, so I know a lot of people, blah, blah, blah. And, it just happened, man. It's just, I don't know. So he's like, I want to talk to you after this. So my contract was up in 2015. They didn't re-sign me. So this is how they tried me, right? So Disney didn't re-sign me. And then they went to AAU. And that's AAU if they could do the international basketball tournament. Not easy. You got to know the people. They don't know them. So then AAU comes right back to me and is like, hey, can you do an international basketball tournament? I'm like, you mean the Global Cup? Duh, I just did it. You just saw it. And he was like, yeah, like that. Maybe something like that. And I was like, nah. At first I was mad. I was like, nah. And then they was like, no. Who tells AAU no? And we got millions of kids and they're trying to, sell products and services to these kids. Everybody's trying to get in. I told them, nah, that's okay. They called back. Hey, just put a couple, articles down or, and we can maybe, give you what you need, money, you need a title. So then I went down and I wrote together a proposal and I was like, okay, I want to be the international basketball director. I want to put that on my title. See, because you guys know now is, pay me this signing bonus and then give me, initially I was like, give me the whole summer for free at Disney where I can do my, and they're like, we can't do the whole summer, but maybe we can do a week around the 4th of July. I was like, perfect. So now I got Wide World of Sports for free.
Oh my God.
I got Wide World of Sports for free now, man. So I got another camp coming in there just because, like, camps at Disney. Come on. So jumped off, man. I was that title for maybe 2 years, I think, until 15 and 16. And that was cool, Now I had done Disney from, 11 until 15. And that's on my resume, the business resume. And, it just was, nobody's done that since. Nobody's been there except the NBA. That's the people who go to Disney, right? You just saw it. You see the bubble at Disney. You see the G League bubble at Disney and Dailey Training. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's insane. And so you literally worked with AAU for a long time. But your son doesn't play AAU.
That's crazy,
Your
right?
son goes against the grain. Your son took a trend. Obviously, like, look, when you're that age, obviously you just want to do the stuff that everyone's doing. So it takes a lot of guts from your son to go against the trend, but it also takes a strong mentor helping him to make the right decision. In this case, going against the grain. But for you, you had a relationship with AAU, so it's kind of crazy that you guys decided not to do it. Please take us through that. Explain that to us.
Well, okay. Initially, when he was young, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, he did play AAU.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So back when he was in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, he was the little fat boy running around. He was wobbling. Because he was growing. He was big. Might have been 4th, 5th grade wearing size 10. You know, he's big and growing. So it was okay then, right? But while I'm out there on that circuit, there was a local team we were playing with. While I was out there on that circuit, I'm watching and looking at, you know, every kid they're talking about, he's the top kid. He's this kid, you know, this kid. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's more developed. You know, he's short, but he's quick and fast. Eric's, you know, now his skill set was still high. He could shoot it and all that when he was younger. But he was just a big, you know, trying to get through. He would get ran down every single time. If he got to steal that, forget about it. He ain't beating him to the basket. So in the 6th grade, we were at a little game, just a scrimmage, and I was looking from the baseline, and he was on the other, like, free throw line, standing beside one of his teammates. And he was standing like here, and his teammate was here. And I looked at my wife, I was like, look. I was like, we got to get him out of that. Like, he's too big for kids, you know? But he's not big enough for the 7th and 8th graders. He's not developed enough for them, and he's too big for the 6th graders. So he was like in an awkward position. So, and then I saw some of the ugly side of AAU when I was in 6th grade. You know, I would see some tournaments where it'd be crazy, you know? And I'm like, man, you know, and we were paying. We wasn't on the Nike. We were paying, you know, to go to the games. You know, we traveled to Miami. We got to drive down there, pay for the hotel, this and that. And then he'd go down there. And I remember one time, man, when I'm in Bradenton, I think we drove to Fort Lauderdale. Man, I think he might have had like 2 points or something. I'm hot. I'm like, I drove 250 miles, and you got 2 points. I'm hot, and I'm driving back. He can't drive. He's over there asleep. I'm like, wake up. You ain't going to sleep. I drive, you gonna be up too. He's in 6th grade, man. Man, just hilarious. So I'm training him. You know, we're still training. You know, this is back when, you know, this is really hard to train him. He's 6th grade, man. He want to be a kid. You know, like he said, you know, how you tell a 9-year-old you're going to go to NBA to train?
Yeah, he wants to play Pokemon. He doesn't want to do basketball.
No, he's trying to last thing. So, and, you know, mom and dad are, you know, everything in the house is hoop, basketball. Go to IMG, basketball. Go play in the tournament, basketball. Daddy's talking basketball. That's the last thing you want to do. Go train. So in that 6th grade year, man, we decided to take him out. Like, hey, don't worry about it, man. We just gonna go train because we had access to IMG, so I could go in there and pass to him and, you know, continue to let him grow and get better. So 6th grade, no AAU. 7th grade, no AAU. Now he's growing a little bit. Now I would put a Dailey Training team together, and we would play in Eric College's team camp, and or we would play in, you know, we would play IMG. We would go and play IMG. Like, I have, like, say, a group from, you know, Columbia, and he would play on the team. So the team was Dailey Training, and he would play on the team, and he'd get some run in like that. But we wasn't going back to Lauderdale and Miami no more. That was over. And that's out, buddy. You know, if I got to drive and pay, that's not happening. Mm-hmm. So, not 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Okay, now in the 8th grade, he's at IMG. So he actually had a chance to play in a season. and rewind, 6th, 7th grade, we would play locally at PAL. We would play at the Police Athletic League, which is right here, you know, 10 minutes from IMG, right by our house. So I'm like, dude, they got 2 baskets on the court. We're playing right there. We ain't going all the way over to Lauderdale or Jacksonville or Georgia. We ain't doing that.
He's 12. He doesn't need to go to Miami. He's a kid.
No more.
What's the point?
Miami's out.
Miami's out of the equation. Stay home.
Miami, but so he played in the league at GT Bray. You know the park. That's near IMG. And he played at PAL. All of us right here in the city. I was like, dude, you still getting 20 games in. You know, we training during the day. You shooting a lot. And you growing. You getting better. So in the 8th grade, that's when he played at IMG. He played JV. So 8th graders weren't playing in high school, you know. So he's playing some. He played like maybe, I think they played a couple varsity games.
They did. They played regular varsity. No, I distinctly remember that team beating a bunch of seniors again and again. They were playing kids 3 years older than them. Eric was what, 14 playing 18-year-olds? Like
Exactly. Yeah. So as far as the AAU, man, you know, after he got there in the 8th grade, I was just like, man, we ain't playing AAU. And you know, EYBL stuff wasn't. They weren't. I think 8th grade. They had EYBL, but he wasn't, you know.
It wasn't worth it.
Nah, he could have played, I believe. I'm sure people were asking me. But I was always on, man, look, we're developing, man. We're just training. We're training. You know, we're at IMG. Like, I'm literally there. That's why I call you, you know, every day. I come there in the morning, pass to him, get my ride on the bicycle, watch him practice, even moving, you know. So I was like, nah, we ain't going to play in no tournaments. We're done, man. After this season, keep training. So that was in the 8th grade. Then the 9th grade, now everybody's like, mind you, in the 8th grade, they asked us to play on the national team, right? So you talking about against the grain. I'm in the office. Yeah, we want to put him on the national team. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not playing on that. we're gonna play varsity team, and that's it. He's gonna play, develop. 9th grade, we're gonna put him on the national team. Nope, same thing. Varsity team and develop. 10th grade, hey, we want to put him on the national team. So half of the year, I was like, nope, we're gonna play on this varsity team and develop. And that's what we did. Then halfway through the season, he was like, Dad, man, I'm tired of playing on that varsity team. And I need to play. Even if I ain't playing a lot, I want to play with the big boys. I'm like, all right, buddy, I already got you ready. Now you've been 2 years developing, while the other guys your age sitting on the bench. So you're getting better. Get better. And I'm in the gym every day. I call it the Breakfast Club. I'll be in there 6:37 in the morning with him. So that's kind of how it all started. And now we're in our junior year, finished the junior year. Well, you know, he led the IMG in scoring and second in rebounding and second in assists. And, of course, all the teams are calling now, hey, we want you to play on our team. I'm like, nope, we're developing, man. Like, how you want to play on your team and you don't practice? And I develop. Like, that's going to hold definitely against the grain. Like, yeah, just show up at the tournament. Yeah, really?
What?
Okay.
Why? That's what I tell people. Like, why? Like, when I was looking at AAU teams, I was living in middle of nowhere, rural New Hampshire, and it's like, oh, so I wouldn't be able to practice, and I'd have to like catch 3 buses to come to the games. What's the point? I went home and I trained.
Nah, man. And then in the culture, the culture had gotten,
Toxic.
speared by that, the scheme.
Mhm.
You know, they're out there paying players. There's a bunch of. I was like, man, look, I'm not trying to go to prison over basketball. That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now I've gotten him to a level where he is one of the top players in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing this with that kid, you're definitely gonna approach me with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't trying to go to jail, man. Over.
I have plenty of friends that didn't even go D1 that caught a little bit of money. The amount of money Eric would be making. Well,
Come on, man.
I'm gonna I'll call out the guy who said it, but I won't call out the player he was talking about. But Brian Bulaga from the Green Bay Packers and I used to do physiotherapy together at the same time as a certain 5-star recruit from the national varsity team. He was looking at committing. He was looking at colleges. Brian Bulaga, star on the line for the Packers, looks at him and says, "If they're not giving you $100,000 for the season, don't commit." And I'm looking at him. I'm like, "What?"
Right.
I'm like, "What?"
Man, I just wasn't with that, man. I was like, I just wasn't with all of the, underground, it's out there. You can watch the scheme. I wasn't with the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't with it. Like, I mean, look, man, we're going to develop. If he's good enough, you're going to see him. I'm going to be there. You ain't going to be able to persuade him to do this or that because you got to come through me, and this is my project. This is like building a race car. I've been working on this thing in the garage for years, twisting little bolts and nuts and screws and, getting it ready. And then all of a sudden you want to come and drive my car and put regular in it, you know what I'm saying? And run it on the curb and mess up the fenders. Like, nah, that's not happening. So that's why I'm really protective of him because I got so much invested in it. Again, you was in the gym. I was in the gym every day, 6.
You were
7.
in the gym more than I was.
Man, I was in the gym, man. I would come in the gym last year before the COVID. We'd get in the gym like 6:30, and nobody would be in the gym. And I would scream, "Nobody's in the gym, E!" He's tired. I'm crunk. Nobody's in the gym, E! Let's get it, baby. Turn on the music. It's 7. And I'm telling him, I'm like, "Hey, man, when all your boys come in the gym, like at 8 o'clock, we're going to run our pick and roll gym. I want you dunking and hanging on the rim." Oh, they come sleeping, rubbing their eyes. We hanging on the rim, working. So they can't say, they gave it to him. Nah, man, because we've been in there grinding since like 6th grade, man. Sure.
And so you talk so much. You've invested so much. Eric's invested so much. The whole Dailey family is so invested in Eric. And I believe the results have paid off. I watch Eric and I see an NBA player. I don't want to get too gassed up. We're not going to go down that route too much. I see an NBA player. I see a top-level player in the country. Everyone sees a top-level player in the country. I imagine every time the recruiting sites update their rankings, someone is texting you the moment it happens, "Oh, Eric rose to this. Eric dropped to this. Eric is a this. Eric is a that. This guy said this. This guy said that." When the last recruitings went out, one of Eric's teammates, Tamar Bates, everyone loves him. I've heard nothing but amazing things about the guy. Scoop was lucky enough to make it up. I think he got to the 5-star level. Topper player. Every recruiting site is right now saying he's underranked still. They're loving him. Eric was the first cut on every site. He was the first or the second cut by a fraction of a point from being a 5-star player. Yeah. What were the emotions when you saw that?
Man, at first, first of all, okay, you got to realize that E is coming out of nowhere. All right? So in the 9th grade, spring, like right now, he was invited to USA basketball to their training camp. So USA's mini camps have like 90 players. All right? Then their second camp will have 60. The next one may have, 50, and they'll cut it to 32 players to come to the training camp to try out for the qualifying and the U16 Worlds. He was 15. So no AAU, no camps. He's never been – he used to cry. He wanted to go to camp so bad. Any camp, that's where he wanted to go, in Houston and Cali, all the camps to get ranked. Wouldn't go to camp, no AAU. And then USA calls us and then now, April, hey, we want to talk to you about Eric coming to the training camp. We're inviting 32 players to come down to try out. I'm like, dude, we came out of nowhere. And you down here with all these players who are ranked, they play AAU, they do all this and that. I say, but you've been training. You've been grinding. Your game is so much more developed. You might not be as strong and fast as them right now because they're a year older, but your game has developed. In the 8th, 9th grade, I took him to Europe. So he was playing in Spain during the springtime and the summertime. We just leave IMG. We was out. We'd go for 2 weeks during the spring break. It'd be 2 weeks spring break. We might stay another week in Spain. So he had that international game, and he was big, and he was developed, more developed than a 15-year-old with his jumper and all that. So they knew it. So I'm saying all this because the real basketball people know, right? So when they come out with the rankings and they come out with, whatever, on one hand, I'm like, we came from nothing. So what, we're 22 right now in the whole world? In the whole wide world. Because the American players over here, the top 20 players, are going to be probably better than the top 20 in Europe, South America, whatever.
I think 24/7 ranks internationally, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And some of them do. Some of them have international players on there as well. So I embrace it. I could be salty because I know how much I put into it. And, you got him right there. He's got 2 players on his team who were in the top 10, and he led them in scoring and rebounding. So I see the top players every day. So I really know the real. You know what I'm saying? And I know what translates to the next level. So I'm not so caught up in it once I understood, because I got, advisors who are in the game. I know so many people that people don't think I know. I know a lot of people in. So I just sit back and I'm watching. And I'm like, I see what's going on. Yeah, I ain't going to get frustrated because you got him ranked 22nd. And the guys he's been killing are 9, 10, 11. That's cool. That's cool. You don't have to put him up there and this and that. But we came from nothing. We came from nothing. He wasn't even ranked in the 9th grade. When he went to USA, look now, he was in the top 32 16-year-olds out of the whole United States. And he wasn't even ranked. And he's at USA. So now he's building his name. He goes there. He got cut the first cut. I was like, okay, no problem. That's good. Matter of fact, I'm glad he got cut because everything comes so easy. Right? He's got basketball mom and dad. He's at IMG where you can pay to play. You didn't have to make the team there. I'm glad he got cut. So now he knows how that feels. So I watched him and I was like, yeah, you got cut, man. What's up? What you going to do? He's like, man, I'm about to get ready to start training in June, because they got training camp in July. So he goes back to USA in July better. The coach said it in a group, you're supposed to come back. Eric didn't make the team at first, but he's definitely gotten better. And then in October, he went back again, and he was better. So I was like, the real basketball people see. I ain't paying no guy to rank my son 16. Give him here, man. I give him money to write an article about him. I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna pass the ball to him 1,000 times, and we're gonna develop this shot and this one dribble pull up. We're gonna work on our bounding and our strength and speed, agility, and that's what I was about, and that's what I'm still about. So that's their opinion. I ain't hating them. In fact, I'm celebrating where we are. Right? Right now they got him at 22 on 24/7. Got him at 23 on Rivals and 26 on ESPN. Man, his kids that'll give their left arm for that. You know what I'm saying?
You have two of those kids in this call.
You can take mine right now.
I'm embracing it, man. As you know, I'm celebrating, man. We balling out like, dude, me and you, we came from nothing. We came from me and you on the court, arguing with each other. We trying to how to do the drill, you know, until 22, 23, and 26 in the country, man. I'm like, you know what? What else you want? You still ain't been to camp. You still ain't been to AAU.
All right.
So,
we're getting close to running out of time, so I really want to get this one out because I think this is the most impressive. You've done so many impressive things. We've detailed all the impressive things that you've done, all the impressive things that you've empowered your son to do. But the most impressive to me is your relationship with your son. The fact that you two are just able to love and care for each other so much and just never get over each other's, antics, to never get on each other's, on the back of each other's, on each other's backs, to never push you guys the wrong way. I've rebounded for both of you guys a few times when I was at IMG. Once I rebounded for you guys once, maybe twice, and the entire time I could tell he was listening to every word you said. Nothing was getting under his skin. He understood. He took everything the exactly right way. That's a superpower in itself. That is a superpower that most fathers do not have. And there's nothing wrong with that to all the fathers listening that don't have that superpower. But this one's for all the sports dads. And it's incredibly tough to build that stronger relationship with your son that you have with yours. How did you do it? How did you foster such a strong relationship with Eric?
Man, by the grace of God, man, it wasn't easy. Like, it was so difficult. It's still difficult. It's getting easier now. But back when he was in 5th, 6th grade, man, 7th grade, oh, man, it would be, he's crying. That's when it would be tears, like, for real. Oh. So I always said, hey, it's going to take blood, sweat, and tears. And you're going to give me 2 of them today. Sweat and tears. He'd be crying, man. I'd be mad. I'd be throwing the ball at him. He just want to go home. I just want to go home. I quit. You ain't quitting. Get back out here and So it would be that, man. Don't get it twisted, man. It was so difficult, man, training him, because he couldn't see what I saw, because I was that close to the NBA. So I knew that, man, if I just did this, this, and this, I'm about to start him early, So we'd be doing the drill, and I wouldn't take into account, man, 6th, 7th grader. They got like 45 minutes. We, thought process, and they only going to be attentive for a little while, and then after they hit that wall, and it's going to be like, ADD, like itching to get out of there. We be in there like an hour and 15 minutes. I know I've gone over the threshold, and I was like, okay, he's about to cry. Yeah, we got to that point. Okay, all right, but I'm pushing him. He's whining, crying. I'm mad. We come home. Mom's the mediator, so he comes out storming.
God bless Coach Shell. God bless.
I'll sweat, man. But then after that, man, we're gonna go get a steak. We're gonna go eat. We on a flight. We going to Bermuda. We're flying to Spain. I'm like, dog, I'm pushing you, and I'm gonna push you, but I love you though. At the same time, so I ain't just gonna throw the ball at you and that's it. I'm gonna throw the ball, and then I'm gonna come back, and then we're gonna go steak. So that's how it jumped off, man. And once he got to the USA piece, it was crazy because in USA, the night, we played our last game at Vanguard at my high school, The next day we flew to Spain. We're driving to the airport. He's like, do I have to go to Spain? You know, and I'm like, man, yeah, man, you know, you're going to see this and that, blah, blah, blah. You're going to play in the tournament. So when USA basketball calls a month later, month and a half later, their specific words were, we like Eric. He has international basketball experience. I said, huh? Wait a minute. Say that again.
One more time. One more time.
We like Eric because he has international basketball experience. I said, okay. Tell him again. And now he's like, yeah, okay, Dad. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know I'm right. You know, that's how it. So now he can look back and I'll be like, I don't know, man. The other day, it was like maybe 2 weeks ago, he was texting me. And I was like, dude, you driving me crazy. I'm like, you're just like the disciples on the boat with Jesus. Jesus in their sleep. We got a few rough waters, but Jesus raised people from the dead. He's made the blind see, and you still doubting him. I said, that's what you're doing to me, man. I got you to USA. I got you over here playing. You got offers. You rank, and you still doubt me, man. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry.
I love that.
I like out, man. Just chill, be patient, man, and I'll go online and I'll find something. I'll send it to him. Be like, patience is a virtue, you know. Or something. It may be Will Smith talking about something. I'll send it to him, you know. But it's been plenty of times I wanted to quit. I heard him say, yeah, he wanted to quit. I wanted to quit before he did, you know. So it's been plenty of times, but then I'd be like, man, you know, this is a part of it. You know, we gotta get through these rough times so that when we get to the good times, you know, he'll appreciate it. So that's kind of what I've been doing with a kid who has so much in the game, so much, and the game comes easy to him. It comes easy to him skill-wise, and it just comes easy. He's got, you know, access. So that's why I wouldn't give him certain things. That's part of the reason we didn't go to the camp. Part of the reason we didn't play AAU was because he got it. He's got it already. He's done it. You know, if you offer him right now, you say Toronto. If you went to him, because they're here. If you went to him and said, hey, got tickets to the Toronto-Orlando game. Want to go? He'll think about it. Nah, I don't really want to go. He's been to the game 1,000 times. Like, his other kids will love that, but it's so abundant to him. It's like me being in the steak business. And he eats steak every day. I'm like, hey, man, you want this juicy T-bone? Nah, I'm good. And that's because he's had it. So now I got to almost trick him. Like, all right, I'm going to take it back from you. Like, nah, we ain't going to the Nah, we're going to the camp. Nah, we're going to be right here this weekend. And it'll make him hungry. And then the kids he knows he's better than, they'll get a write-up. Or they'll get some, you know, Ball Is Life video, you know, and he'll see him. And it'll create a chip on it. So I was creating a chip. I was like, yeah. Because if he would have been there, he would have been in the video. But now he's seeing boys, man, oh, he's unstoppable. Can you do this? And can you check him? Blah, blah, blah. And this kid he knows he's better than. And I'm like, create that chip, buddy. You mad? Yeah, all right, good. That's what I want. I want you to be mad.
All right, I know I said the last one was the last question, but we have a little bit of time. We got a quick one. I have to ask.
Okay.
You're his father. You're his mentor. You're the biggest mentor in his life. The college decision is going to be huge for him, as it is for everyone. No one makes that decision alone. What do you hope he finds in college, and where are you looking? How about what do you hope to find in college, and then what colleges do you have been speaking to him that you think would offer that kind of experience?
Well, love first. So he's got to have, wherever he goes, the coach has got to love him. He's got to want it. You know, he's got to understand it. So I don't care what it says on the jersey. You know, you can be wherever. You can go to the league from wherever. But the coach has got to cut for him. You know, and that's one thing that I really look at, you know, even as he's growing now, like, hey, man, the coach got to cut for you, dude. If the coach don't cut for you, then it don't make no sense to go there. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. You know, we're going to be able to mentor him and guide him wherever he goes. But he's got to have love. If you don't have that, then you'll end up playing the 4 out of position and be that close to the NBA, opposed to a coach saying, hey, I want to help you, you know, help you get there. And that's one of the things that, you know, even now, we need love. You know, we need him to have somebody, because the work ain't even like, he works harder than anybody. So that's not even like a question. So I ain't like asking for, give me a freebie. Nah, just love what he's doing. Look, understand his game. He's the most versatile player probably in the country. Like, there ain't too many 6'8" shoot like him, can handle the ball and do whatever. And there's the things that we, you know, aren't as good at, you know, we're working on it. So I think that's the main thing, man. You know, if you got that, everything else is going to be cool. Because I've been in that position where coach don't really mess with me like that. Coach got his favorite. I'm better than the dude that he's you know, likes, but he's playing this way, you know. And that's one of the things playing in Europe that I, you know, had to understand. I remember being in Japan, and I was posted up on the block like, give me the ball. I'm facing the bench, and everybody's saying, get out of the way, get out of the way. And I'm like, whoa, well, okay, I'll get out. But what away from? And I turn around, it's like a 5'10" guard that they're trying to bring to the block. And I'm like, what? Like, he's 5'10", I'm 6'6". I need the ball here. He's a guard. Nah, they wanted him to get the ball to score. And I was like, okay, I see. So these are the things I'm saying. He's got to have that. First and foremost. Everything else is going to come. If you happy on the court, boy, that off the court is awesome. Right.
And so far you've gotten a few offers, and just, are any of them leading in your mind? Do you feel like any of them look special to you?
Yeah, I think definitely, you know, he's got Michigan, he's got Florida, he's got Texas A&M, he's got Iowa State, Florida State has interest, Texas offered, you know. So once we go back and dig through them and, you know, see, you know, what this one offers, how this coach has been, you know, contacting you, what offense they run, how they're going to play you, then we can kind of come down to a decision, you know, of where, you know, where we want to go. But again, you got to love him. If you don't love him, then we ain't coming, you know, because it don't make sense. That's why the transfer portal has got 2,000 players in it, right?
My brother just entered. My brother just got in on it, literally.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone's in it.
Hard, you know. You know, I think that I transferred too, but I transferred up. You know, this was back. Nobody was really transferring, so they were, but they would transfer down. They go D1, wouldn't play, go down, play D2. Well, I'm going from, you know, the Southern Conference to Big 12. And, you know, it worked for me. I wasn't going – I didn't transfer because I wasn't playing. I was transferring because, man, I needed to be somewhere where it was, you know, a challenge for me to get to.
The last thing you'd want is for Eric to wind up somewhere where he's not going to be challenged.
Man, get lost in the storm, man, in college, you know, and then, you know, that can cost you millions of dollars. Millions of dollars, you know. So we got to make the right decision. You know, it'll be collective. We'll be able to, you know, I've been through it. So now I can really look at this thing and say, hey, I don't know if you want to go there. You know, look at what happened last year.
Yeah.
Or look at this team. Look at that coach. Is he going to be there? That coach just lost the last 2 years. Is he going to be there your whole time? Or, you know, so, you know, we're looking at, you know, just making the best calculated decision. And again, we've been going against the grain, man. So you never know how this thing might go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, just because you're a training guy, a developmental guy, has there been any thought or like just your kind of opinions on what the G League Ignite team is doing, and now Overtime's kind of started their own high school development thing? You see the trend of basketball kind of going away from the NCAA a little bit. Is that affected all a little bit of your decision or what goes into it for you guys going into the senior year?
You know, we're open. He's elite players in the country, so of course, you know, at 6'8", being a guard at 6'8", you know, that he fits the bill of that versatile player in the NBA. That position player, you know, he fits. I'm training him to be that. So that's definitely the avenue we're trying to take. You know, we're trying to get there, and the avenue we take, you know, it could be college, it could be G League, you know, Overtime. Those are all options. It's good to have those options, you know. You know, he was offered in Barcelona the year before last in the 9th grade. We went and visited Real Madrid. So he's got options, and that's good, you know. And now we're just like, hey, he's kind of in no man's land now. Going back to what you said about our relationship, he's at a point now where he can't tell me because like he's in no man's land. If it was, you know, going to play in the EYBL or get a mixtape from, you know, Ball Is Life, then he'd tell me, yeah, Dad, this is how it goes. But now it's like, hey, you never signed a contract and you never signed a scholarship. So you don't really know. So guess who you got to listen to?
I love that. I love that. All right. We're pushed. I hate that we have to close it up. This has been so awesome. Eric, it's been awesome having you on. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
No doubt. No doubt.
And we'll definitely be following up with you guys and following you guys for the foreseeable future. We're very invested in watching Eric make it. We're happy to help out. You know, if you ever need anything from us, please always feel free to give us a call.
No doubt.
If you want to shout out any of your stuff, the Instagram, the website, the training, let the people know where they can find you and how you can help them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my my website is daileytraining.org. That's DAILEY training.org. And dailytraining@gmail.com is my my email address.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to tag you on the IG, and of course we'll be tagging your son too.
Yeah, that's at Dailey Training all the way across the board.
Yes, sir. We'll make sure that people can find you no matter what. And, to all the viewers, thank you so much for listening, liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing. Every little bit helps us with getting noticed and all that. Please keep doing it. Thank you. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to Ball Talk.
It's Ball Talk. It's Ball Talk, baby. 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 Baby, baby, baby.